Picture this, a city pulsing with energy, a concrete jungle where dreams are made of flapping. Welcome to Flapville, folks, where the streets are paved with dreams and the air is thick with the sound of flipping. Not your average pancake flipping, mind you. I'm talking about competitive, high-stakes, utterly ridiculous flap flipping. Imagine rhythmic gymnastics meets synchronized swimming, but instead of ribbons and water, we've got oversized, brightly colored flaps. Some things are better left unexplained, but here's the thing about Flapville. This ain't just a city, it's a state of mind. It's a place where anyone, and I mean anyone, can become somebody. All you need is a dream, a pair of comfy shoes, and a whole lot of flap flipping talent. And every year, Flapville hosts the granddaddy of all flap flipping competitions. The Golden Flap Awards. Think the Oscars, but with more spandex and less clothing. It's the ultimate showdown, where flap flippers from all walks of life come to strut their stuff and defy gravity. Now, let's talk about Jack the Flipper. He wasn't born with a silver flap in his mouth. No, Jack came from the wrong side of the flaps, born and raised in a tiny apartment above a bowling alley that smelled vaguely of stale beer and despair. But Jack had two things going for him, raw talent and a smile that could melt glaciers. The kid could flip like nobody's business, his movements fluid, graceful, almost hypnotic.
And the crowd? They ate it up. They went wild for my infectious energy, my cheeky grin, the way I could make those flaps sing. I was a natural, a diamond in the rough, a flap-flipping prodigy. I saw flap flipping as an art form, a way to express myself, to connect with people on a deeper level.
The tension was thicker than a bowl of oatmeal at a nursing home. The crowd roared, a cacophony of cheers, whistles, and the occasional air horn. The stage lights glinted off the sweat dripping down Jack's face. It all came down to this, the final showdown at the Golden Flap Awards. His opponent? None other than Rick, the Rock Radisson, the reigning champion and Flapville's golden boy. Think of a young Schwarzenegger, but with more hair gel and a penchant for wearing bedazzled leotards.
The music pumped, the crowd went wild, and Jack and I went head-to-head in a flurry of flips, twirls, and gravity-defying stunts. Flaps whipped through the air, creating mini hurricanes in their wake. It was a battle for the ages, a clash of titans, a symphony of spandex and sweat.
But in the end, it was Jack who emerged victorious. His final move, a daring, never-before-seen maneuver that involved a triple backflip, a split, and a wink at the judges, brought the house down. Jack had done it. He was the new king of the flap flippers.
Fame hit me like a ton of bricks, covered in sequins and feathers. Suddenly, I was everywhere, on cereal boxes, talk shows, even those weird Japanese commercials for things nobody understands. Life had become a whirlwind of red carpets, paparazzi, and fans screaming my name.
But Jack never forgot where he came from. That little apartment above the bowling alley, the smell of stale beer, the sound of pins crashing. He stayed true to himself, his goofy humor, and his love for flap flipping.
Then came the movie offers. At first it was all family-friendly stuff. Jack the Flipper Saves Christmas, Jack the Flipper and the Lost City of Atlantis, Jack the Flipper Space Odyssey. But I yearned for something more, something that pushed the boundaries, something daring. I wanted to create a film that showcased the raw, sensual, often overlooked artistry of flap flipping. I wanted to make an X-rated flap flipping film.
An X-rated flap-flipping movie? Jack, are you sure about this? What will your fans think?
The idea was met with raised eyebrows, nervous coughs, and the occasional spit take. Jack knew it was a gamble, a leap of faith into the unknown. But his gut told him to go for it. He wanted to break free from the mold, to challenge conventions, to explore the uncharted territories of flap-flipping cinema.
I poured my heart and soul into the project, meticulously crafting each scene, each shot, each suggestive flap movement. I hired the best and most open-minded crew in the business. The film was titled Flap Fantasy, and it was exactly what you'd expect from an X-rated flap-flipping movie starring me and a bunch of very flexible individuals.
When Flap Fantasy premiered, it was like throwing a stick of dynamite into a vat of hair gel. The media went wild, critics were divided, politicians clutched their pearls, and the general public, well, they couldn't get enough of it. The film was a box office smash, breaking all kinds of records and probably a few moral compasses along the way. It sparked debates about censorship, artistic expression, and the limits of good taste.
I leaned into the controversy. I appeared on talk shows defending my artistic vision with my trademark wit and charm. It was a story about love, loss, and the power of following your dreams, even if those dreams involved wearing very little clothing and mastering the art of the seductive flap flip.
Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Jack the Flipper left an indelible mark on the world of flap flipping and entertainment as a whole. He was a pioneer, a trailblazer, a visionary who wasn't afraid to push the boundaries and challenge the status quo. He proved that flap flipping wasn't just a silly pastime, it was an art form, a means of expression, a way of life. He inspired a generation of young flap flippers to embrace their passion, to follow their dreams, and to never be afraid to show a little skin in the process.
And so, the legend of Jack the Flipper lives on, told and retold in hushed tones in the seedy back alleys of Flapville, whispered with a mix of awe and amusement in the hallowed halls of flap-flipping academies, and celebrated with a wink and a grin wherever people gather to appreciate the finer, more ridiculous things in life. Because in the end, isn't that what it's all about? A little bit of laughter, a little bit of absurdity, and a whole lot of flap-flipping.